Live from the res, here with the one, the only Indio9, but the 9 is silent. How you doing, my man?
Very silent. Doing good.
Hey, I like your medallion. Before we start off, you gotta show the bling, man. What does it say on there? And who made your medallion, if you know?
It says Red Blooded Music, Pauma Wisham. I got my beadwork from most of my bead makers out there in Arizona.
Nice.
I came across him on Facebook. His name's Toby Wheeler.
Okay.
Go check his work out. It's really, really nice.
Toby Wheeler.
I like it.
I like it too. It stands out, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Toby Wheeler.
Yep.
And man, I can never say that word. I know some people from like out that way. Pauma Wisham.
Yeah.
That's pretty close, huh?
Yeah, Pauma Wisham.
Man, I try to say that over and over and over, and I just cannot say that, you know. But I like it though, because that's the traditional original name. The other name would be what, Luiseno, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Luiseno Nation, but people of the West,
Yeah.
That's why we like to keep it.
I like it. Out here, we're a little south, so we're Kumeyaay land. But like we used to be called Indigenous, and now there's like this big thing where like, everyone kind of identifies as Kumeyaay now, which is cool. It's a more traditional name. There's a lot of history on that. I know in our area, there was a period of time where your land wasn't protected because we as natives, we didn't have, we weren't citizens till 1924 and all that. We didn't have claim to land. We couldn't go into court and protect ourselves, any of those things. So, the one way you could protect your land is if you said, oh, no, this is relating to the church. And so all of our people would say, well, we're Indigenous, and so we're connected to, this church or that church, ultimately to the mission system. And then people who are like Americans rolling in, and the Mexicans over here and all their people, they kind of didn't know how to treat it. They'd say, well, I guess we just leave it alone as church land. And so all the natives were able to kind of covertly keep their land without it having to go to any kind of legal thing until later on. Yeah, because they had their sovereignty, man, and they could keep it and stuff. So we had like a generation and a half down here where people would just kind of claim Indigenous, and they didn't want to throw the native stuff on it. Yeah. And so the elders would say, well, I don't remember hearing Kumeyaay or all these other things. So in Kumeyaay land, you hear people say, I'm Ipe, I'm Tipai, I'm Kumeyaay, I'm Indigenous. But out your neck of the woods, you hear Luiseno, Pauma Wisham, and it don't seem like people trip if you say one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, from up our way, it's just, there's a lot of Cupeños, Luisenos, Juaneño, all that along up that area. But, I think all together as one, we're just all people of the West from the way I see it.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
I dig that.
I think, too, where you guys are geographically located there in Pauma Valley, it's like, right up the street's Paula. The other direction down the street is Rincon, and going up to La Jolla. Like there's on that street, I don't know how many, 1, 2. There's up the hill, it's Mesa Grande, San Isabel,
yeah.
Los Coyotes go a little further. It's like there's so many reses. San Pasqual's the other direction.
Yep.
There's a lot of reservations right there, and like really like 3, 4 different tribes right in that little mix right there too,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
I know one time they had the longest walk a few years back, for sobriety and for and the different native issues, and it went right through that area, and they had they were going from Rincon Res right there at the the ball fields and stuff, and we walked from there all the way to Pauma.
Yep.
Man, that's a walk, dude.
I've actually walked from La Jolla all the way down to Paula one time, and my freaking feet were just killing me.
That's a hike, dude.
And I was going down the mountain, and it still hurt.
It's like our ancestors would do that like nothing, but now it's like, man, we don't be walking like they used to.
Oh, hell no.
But we walked there, and we went to the Pauma Tribal Hall, and that hill at the end, like my feet were tired, and then that last hill was just straight up. I was like, oh man, like we're gonna make us walk this little bit.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that was our own Trail of Tears right there.
Yeah. Go right up that hill right there. But so, man, you do all kinds of music.
Yeah, I started hip hop once. It was around like the age of 13. I used to see a lot of my older cousins and stuff like that doing it. Would be on the bus going to school. They'd be busting freestyles in the back of the bus and stuff like that. And I was watching them, just mesmerized by all of it. Until my cousin actually got me to hop in one day. And then he gave me the name Crazy Braids. So, and I had my hair long back then, so I was kind of digging it. And then from 13 and up, I kind of really just started getting more verbally, started writing down a lot of my flows.
Yeah.
And, just hip hop just stuck with me ever since then. I kind of just, it was something that I knew I wanted to do, like especially seeing them start passing out their burn CDs and stuff like that at school. Like it caught my eye. Like it caught my eye a lot.
Yeah,
You know,
and
so.
you're it's like natural. It seemed like, huh?
Oh yeah, of course.
I feel like sometimes, like as natives, like we have like so much music within our culture. Like the tradition, like the piano, our hand games, piano. There's music there. We go to a pray. They sing in there when they're praying. We have the bird songs in our area, the Laquanish, all these different kind of song cycles.
Oh yeah.
It's just so much rhythm amongst our people that now you go forward. It's like it used to be what like country, old school country. You know what I mean? Then
Old
it
school
was
rock
like
and roll.
old school rock and roll, and then now
Yeah.
raps set in and hip hop and just different and it's like it seems like every genre there's some native kind of rocking it somewhere.
Oh yeah, of course. And I know a lot of my uncles too from up there in Verona. I know that they dabbled in like a little bit of jazz and whatnot too. So it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of something that you don't really see. Like like jazz is kind of like it's a weird genre to be like see some natives in, but it's awesome though. Like,
Yeah, that is a random genre for natives, right?
like
That's
jazz.
jazz. Yeah, you see the blues. You have Tracy down in where's La Jolla,
Yep.
Tracy Nelson.
Yep.
He'd be doing the blues, but yeah, jazz. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Kind of makes sense though, because Verona has a real strong like rock band history, res rock, I should say, history.
Yep.
You got a lot of res bands in there, and I think with the heavy guitar and instrument, I guess jazz makes sense. I guess.
It does. It should. I mean, country's more like the mainstay. I want to say that they have, but
So were you raised up on country like a lot of people?
Oh yeah, I was raised up a lot on country. Like that's all I would ever hear in the morning when my grandma would take us to school. Would be like Dwight Yoakam,
Mm-hmm.
George Strait, Brooks and Dunn, Dixie Chicks, all of those. Like that's all the old school artists like that I would hear. Like but it was just once we actually had TV and stuff like that. I started turning it to MTV and whatnot.
Yeah.
So my grandma would always tell me, "Turn that damn music down." Like, I don't want to be hearing that damn stuff all day. So it was a trip. But that's kind of what I grew up off. And then like when my uncles and stuff started coming around, I know that they listened to like Metallica, Pantera, stuff like that, like the metal,
Yeah.
and like that's more of the other music that I grew up on.
I think that's like a native thing for sure because like I mean I'm sure it's every culture you get that mix, but with natives you get like a real big mix. You can look at one family and you'll have half of like part of the family all into hip hop. You'll have another part of the family all into country.
Yep.
You'll have another part of the family all into rock. Like me growing up, I was always with my brother and sisters, and like my oldest brother's like into like the Rolling Stones, all that classic rock, and then my oldest sister. She was into all kinds of hip hop and all that 80s type music and Janet Jackson and all that kind of stuff and and then like my other sister was like her and her man were into like grunge rock and random just all this different kind of music. Country, my sister is big into country, Garth Brooks, and it's just like a big just a bunch of different music mixed in.
Oh yeah.
And so people ask me like, what do you like? I'm like, well, I don't even really if I have a type because I listen to everything, But I do know in our area, it seems like I want to say for sure, like Dwight Yoakam is huge, man.
Yes.
Did you ever get a chance to see Dwight Yoakam or no?
Nah, but he's been to our casino a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to, for my mom, rest in peace. I always wanted to take her, but just, I know I know she's probably kicking my ass for it now. But, it's, what happens,
Sometimes we don't get those opportunities, man. And, it's like time, time's a weird thing. Time will fly. Sometimes time stands still, but, we miss those opportunities. But I got to meet Dwight Yoakam, believe it or not, man. I met that dude. I'll share a story. First off, if people don't know in SoCal, I swear, Dwight Yoakam comes here like all the time, right? I know he's been at Pauma, he's been at Paula. I've seen him in Rincon a couple of times, he's been at Viejas a few times. He's just always in this mix. And every time you go to one, there's all kinds of natives from all over. Everyone's aunties there, they're just feeling it. And we got to do the meet and greet here at Viejas. He came through, and Dwight Yoakam's an interesting dude because he's one of those guys that all the women are like the older women are like, oh my God, he's so handsome. He's this, he's that, his voice. And then he takes his hat off and everyone's like, whoa, who's that guy? I'm not to down the guy, but his hair is like, he just looks different,
Yep.
He goes from that sexy singer to like, you ever seen the movie Sling Blade?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? When he's like, he turns into that guy who takes his hat off. He's like, I like some French fry potatoes. And then the dude's like, but he's like, what the? So he came in and was doing a meet and greet, and everyone was there lined up. And I was like, that's Dwight Yoakam. My wife was all excited and everything. And I don't know, man. He just like legit had like his suit, everything on, his hat kind of tilted. And he didn't even look human because he was so stiff. He just put his hand out, like shook his hand, and like you know, and like no emotion, no nothing.
Nothing.
And, you know, I guess he meets a lot of people, and he was probably maybe he was tired. But he was just kind of like no emotion. We just kind of shook his hand. It was like picture, next person, picture, shake hand. You know, just real boom, 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 and out. I was like, so I got up to the guy and I'm like, Helka, and he just kind of looked at me like, what? I'm like, Helka, you know?
He's like,
yeah, but shook his hand, we took a picture, and he was just kind of like a robot. I told my wife, I said, if I didn't know any better, he looked like the guy, the little character at Chuck E. Cheese, dude. He was real stiff with it. Yeah, he was just like, Rrr. And then he went out, did the show right after, rocked the house. Everyone's cheering, yeah. And then I see his bus just driving away. I was like, that dude's gone already. Like, he was just in and out, but
probably because everybody else's auntie was trying to chase him down, trying to sneak on the bus.
I know he's a thin dude, man. My wife's cousin said, I'll break his leg off or something like that. I was like, oh no, man. But Dwight Yoakam, dude, that guy's classic, you know. He's definitely classic. Those classic rocks and you know, like CCR. I grew up on CCR. That was a big one. All that res rock, you know, just someone's uncle or aunt, they're playing it. I know in our area here it's like horseshoes. There's always horseshoes. And you got CCR bumping. It's got all that kind of stuff, and then everyone's boozing or doing their thing too, you know.
ZZ Top.
Yeah, it's good vibes, you know.
Hell yeah.
But I like that because I feel like it doesn't hold us back. Like if you want to be, you know, if you're a native kid on the res, you want to go play rock, then go play rock. You know, like no one's gonna down you for that. You want to go play country. Well, I don't know that anybody does that, but I'm sure you could. I don't know young timers doing it, but no one's gonna hate that.
Nah.
And if you want to do rap, well then you got support on that. You know.
Hell yeah.
Have but you did have people coming at you saying do the country.
Yeah. That was one thing my mom honestly really wanted me to do was because you know, she heard a lot of my lyrics were explicit, of course.
Yeah.
Like, and I was going through a little bit of a phase, you know, when I was younger, you know, just all through high school and stuff like that with, you know, just wanted to fight the power, fight the white man, fight everybody, you know, and she was just like, turn off that damn music, see that music's just ruining your mind. She was like, you really want to be an artist? Become a country singer. And I'm like, Mom, I cannot do that. Like, seriously. I'm like, when you look at me and look at my mentality, it's like, it does not fit in the country world. I mean, like, even though I see people like, what's that guy's name? I think his name's Cowboy Troy or whatever, the black guy, another black country singer, like, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know, I mean, like, he could fit in that genre because that's him. Like, you know what I mean? And
is that where everybody's getting that dance from? Is that what that? I've been seeing like there's
Little Nas or something like that.
Is that okay? Yeah, I saw this dance and I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, okay.
I mean, like, that's just another one of the fads that.
That's what it was. I missed it. Yeah.
You know? But you know, I mean, like, I got a lot of my inspiration and stuff like that from, I want to say, it was a year. I think like a year ago or so. My wife had actually got me tickets to Tech Nine. He was coming to the House of Blues, you know, and like I was barely getting myself established, you know, and so she got me the meet and greet and stuff like that. And like I walk up to him, you know, and I'm like all starstruck because like Tech Nine, like favorite ass rapper in the world, like, you know, this is the dude who I grew up on. Like I finally get to meet him, you know, and he's like, "Do you want anything?" I'm like, "Want me to sign anything?" I'm like, you know, I hope this is like, you know, like not too far-fetched, but I'd actually want some advice. And he's like, all right, that's a first. He's like, you know, that's cool. What's up? I'm like, you know, I'm a big fan. You know, I'm gonna get that out of the way. You know, I'm like, but what is it that you did to become successful and where you're at right now? Like, you know, because I want to do the same thing and try to establish my own label and whatnot. And he's like, you know something? I'm gonna tell you this right now. Don't let the world judge you for who you are. You know, and if you got a dream, go out there and chase it and take that. And if the world's not messing with you, it's like, fuck them. Like, you know, it's like you just keep doing you, you know, and just make your dream happen. Because that's all I'm going to say. Be 100% about your music. Ever since then, you know, I kind of just took that all in stride and I just, you know, I worked hard at it. I actually won it's a competition that they have out there in LA. It's called Coast to Coast. I went out there and I took 5th place for Cali. You know, and that kind of thing right there kind of just boosted up my confidence, you know, and like it really just had me on such a high level and I got some insights and stuff. I got to meet him the following year, you know, and I got him a beaded Strange Music medallion, you know, and I got to do the meet and greet again with him, you know, and I walked up to him and I'm like, "Hey, Tech, you remember me?" He's like, yeah, Indian dude. Like, "What's poppin', dog?" I'm like, "Hey, you know, I won my competition. You know, what your words really did, you know, like they helped me out. So I wanted to gift you with this." And I gave him the medallion and man, he was just so like humblest dude I think I've ever met. Like he rocked it his whole tour.
That's
Like, you
cool.
know, I was stalking him on his, on his Instagram. I was like,
Yeah.
seeing if he gave it away or not. But like he had that and he rocked it his whole tour, dude. And like I kind of like it made me feel good, you
Yeah.
know. So like ever since then, I've just been pushing and just making more music, dropping videos, you know, just honestly doing it for our people down here,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And like that's one of the goals like I'm still trying to accomplish, you know, is like putting our people on the map, all of SoCal on the map,
Yeah.
you know.
That's good, you know, and I think sometimes we live in our own little bubbles, our own little, you know, caves, and we know what's going on around us. But like in a bigger picture, you go around places, and I know like as a native, a lot of times people don't realize there's natives in SoCal. They don't know there's anybody in San Diego.
Nah.
They never heard of Viejas, never heard of Pauma. They don't know the saying Yoakam, Indigenous, Pauma, They don't know any of that. You know, and it's like general America sometimes don't know that either. You know, they just think Indian, they think Plains Indian, Sioux, or Navajo, or
teepees,
you know, teepees and all that.
horses.
And it's like, no, we're over here in SoCal. We never went nowhere, you know.
Yep.
And it's crazy because like here in San Diego is like the oldest trace of humanity in the Western Hemisphere. You know, they found that mastodon bone off the freeway down there, and they saying the Nature magazine said it was like 120,000 years old. You know, some humans went and broke a mastodon bone and they're eating the inside. You know, so that's the oldest trace of humanity in the Western Hemisphere. And it's crazy to think that that happened down the street. And so there have been people here in this region that whole time. And it's like we're still here. You know, despite all the histories, the hard, you know, genocidal acts, we're still here. And we have a voice and we have a very unique way of living here in SoCal, you know, and it's cool. So like we're like, you know, yeah, we're still here. But then people are like, wait a minute, you really still there? You know? So it is nice to have some representation, you know, to go out to a powwow on the other side of the country and then go like, oh yeah, you guys come from, you know, SoCal, I've been out there, you know? And it's nice, you know, it's nice to have people who are in San Diego County, like, you know about the reservations and stuff, you know? And not just think casino, but think people.
Yeah.
And so that's cool, man. Yeah, you put everybody on the map. That'd be legit.
Have to, you know?
Yeah.
And I got to give a shout out there to Poot Easy too. He's another person who's been, you know, doing his thing out there and getting all the other natives and stuff like that on the map too, you know, especially repping it for Dago, you know, and like, you know, like, and I've met him a couple of times too, you know, humble dude.
Real humble dude, right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought the same thing. Real good dude. I seen him, you know, like, because Booteezy lives down the street and the next door is over in Saquon.
Yep.
And I've heard about his music and his crew and all that. And I never really listened to him, you know.
Yeah.
But I try to support the other natives, you know, if they're trying to do music. I don't you know, if I don't get a chance to listen to him, it's like, But I'll still support him, you know. So I heard about him all this time. And I don't know why I never sat and listened to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I went up and somebody gave me a song of his and I listened. I was like, man, he's pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And then, anyways, I met him and talked with him, and I was just really taken back by how humble he was, how kind and nice he was, you know? Cool. You would never know that he does anything like that, you know? He just seemed like a dude.
Yeah.
And so it kind of made me want to listen to more of his music, see what his vibe was.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I went out to LA this last year, to Indigenous Peoples Day, LA, and we went out and sang bird songs for Pooteezy. He came out and he has a song where he has some bird, you know, or his traditional song starts it off with that, and then he goes into his thing. And so he wanted us to go sing for them. We're like, yeah. I was like, man, I'm honored. You know, I'd be real honored to do that. And so we went out and sang some songs. Kids danced, and then he came out and did his thing. And I was like even more impressed because he was out there bopping around doing it. He just has a great stage presence. Oh, yeah. And I was like, man, this dude's really legit, you know. And but yeah, Pooteezy's a cool dude, man.
Oh yeah.
But we need more of that. We need more SoCal. We need more Cali natives in general representing all of our peoples, you know.
Yeah.
So do you feel a pressure to include like your res, your family, your nation, all that kind of stuff, or do you feel free to kind of rap about whatever you want to, or?
If there's anything that I feel pressured, you know, to put on, you know, like actually like it's no pressure at all, honestly. Yeah. You know, like I like representing us as a whole, like, you know what I mean? Because like you can go out there and you could find any other artist who's gonna put their res on or put like, you know, put their city on or stuff like that. But like when you go out there just repping it, like, you know, that's why honestly I named my label Red Blooded Music, because, you know, I mean, we're all like, from the way how I see it, we're all red bloods. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it's like, you know, we're one people. Like, you know, like I'm repping it as I can't you know, separate us into like different groups or nothing like that, because it just seems like that's what the world wants to look at us as, is like we're all separate. But I can't have that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I figure, you know, we stand strong as one. Like, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's just a trip. Like, you know, like how the colonization and stuff like that just wants us to be, like, you know, fanned out like that. I can't do that. Like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's you do see that he wants us to be divided, and then
Yeah.
ultimately start fighting against one another,
Mm-hmm.
and just be living in negativity like that.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I feel that. I feel like that's a huge part of everyone talking about colonization and trying to decolonize and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And I really respect and like that too. But I think sometimes people don't realize like the real ground level of what that means. It's like when you're talking about people gossiping, like that's what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When someone's trying to better themselves, they got a new T-shirt line and they're trying to sell shirts. And you're like, I ain't wearing their thing. Like, why do you feel negative towards them? Like, that's part of that colonization.
Yeah.
When people don't want to leave their res or they have this crazy anxiety about doing things, they don't feel free. Like the ancestors, used to go walk 10 miles, do whatever. They felt comfortable and safe, but now
Mm-hmm.
we have trouble sometimes leaving our reses and things like that or trying something new. That's part of the colonization.
Yep.
It's all part of it. And I know for me, like I said, I sing the bird, I play piano, I take the kids around, do these kinds of things help me deal with that, help me get out, spread my wings, feel confident, you know what I mean, connect.
Yeah.
You feel that way with your rap? You feel like that's
Oh yeah. I've had multiple people like inbox me sometimes, and they tell me, like, hey, like your lyrics, they're something that we've never heard before, like especially coming from an Indian, like, it's like, you put so much heart into it and so much, so much love. I think that, that's just one of these things that I strive for as an artist is just to, making sure that the next person that's out there hearing my stuff, that they're feeling it and that they're vibing with it, and like like trust me, all of this stuff did not happen like overnight. Like there was a point in my life to where I knew I was whack. Like, you know what I mean? So, and I ain't even gonna lie, that's no bullshit on that. But once I actually started putting a lot more love and respect into my lyrics and stuff like that, like it all started to make sense. And I think like just going through the stuff that I went through, like I'm not even ashamed to say it, like I'm a recovering addict,
Mm-hmm.
and I will throw that out there, like, and a lot of people will try to bag on me and cap on me for that, like, oh, like you're just like an ex tweaker, like, crying on the mic or whatever, like, nah, mother. Either way, and that might be true. If it is true, oh well, so be it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'll claim that, like, what I mean. But like I've lived and been through things to where like I'm sitting here as a survivor. No.
Sure. I mean, it's got to come through genuine too. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that's like a big thing you hear a lot of rappers, or a lot of big criticism you see with a lot of native rappers. Is like a lot of them have all these lyrics, and then people go, "What? I know that kid. What is he talking about? That ain't genuine."
Yeah.
And maybe it's them expressing themselves, or maybe they are truly just copying somebody else's style, and they feel like they have to have certain kind of lyrics, certain kind of mannerisms, certain kind of dress, and all that.
Oh yeah.
And so maybe it's not genuine, but like you're saying, you're tapping into like some real stuff with you,
Oh yeah.
and it comes through genuine. I think it comes through real genuine, and people can relate to that, And the thing about all of those things, like whether it's alcohol abuse or drug abuse or whatever the ailments, it's something that we're all dealing with at some level.
Oh, yeah.
That's some real res stuff because. I know people on the outside and they maybe, they're native or they're indigenous. I'm not trying to take that from them, but they grew up in a different environment than if you grew up on a res or a really heavy native populated area,
Yeah.
where we're dealing with that colonization, the effects of the genocide and all that. And it's like, yeah, we all have to deal with that res life, which, a lot of times means either if you aren't, an alcoholic or a drug addict, then maybe your parents were, or you're an uncle or a brother or a cousin, you've dealt with it,
Yep.
We've had to bury people for that, We've gone to funerals, seen people die when they shouldn't have died, that we
Yep.
passed on premature, and they've had to experience that stuff. And, it's like we're resilient people, man. We keep going through, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean you can't express yourself, talk about those things, and sing about that stuff.
Oh yeah, of course. And that's just one of the things, like, like if I could shoot a message out there, it's just to show, our youth, and then for even future generations, that we can make something out of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Whether if it's putting it through music, whether if it's doing it through sports, whether it's doing it just through artwork or tagging or something, like, you can make yourself something. Like, I come from humble beginnings, like, to where I didn't have nothing. And then, now, like, I'm a father of 6, you know, I have a good music career, you know, and I can remember back to when I didn't have nothing. Like, you know, and now I'm sitting here.
Would you say your style was whack?
Yeah, and my shit was.
It sounds like you've always been honest, so that's cool.
You know what I mean? And but it's like now I'm sitting here blessed, like, you know, like thank Creator, man, that He gave me another chance.
Yeah.
This, like, you know what I mean, and like I'm blessed every day just to think about that. You know, I'm blessed that I have my wife on my back 24/7, and I love that because without her, I think honestly, like, you know, you wouldn't get this me here right now. Like, honestly, like I used to be a real hostile dude where, like, you know, anybody was mad dogging me, I'd be cracking off like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, she got me to calm down like a whole lot. You know, and I'm thankful for that. Hella thankful.
Yeah, shout out to all the good women out there, you know, all them wives. You know, especially the Native wives out there, because they know what's up. They know some of the struggles, you know, that Native men have to go through. I was the same way, you know, and I'm not even a big statured guy, but I used to like work out, and I had probably little man syndrome now I look back at it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I was like 16, 17. I was always ready to fight or to be stupid, you know, and at the same time I'm doing things I shouldn't, you know, I was like, you know, I was involved in like our culture and stuff. You can't be around acting all crazy like that, but still you just have that, you know, you come from the res and it's like someone gives you lip or talks to you, you know, gives you that eye, and like, what are you looking at? You know, I mean, next thing you're scrapping or sizing each other. And it's just like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, calm down, you know. And the old people look at you like, cut it out, you know, you're going to get beat up. But your woman will put you in place, like, knock it off. We ain't got time for that. And that's good. I'll be honest, man. Like, I've been married to my wife a lot of years, and, you know, I love my wife, and she gives me a lot of stress sometimes, you know. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be who or what I am without her, you know what I mean? And so that in itself is a message, you know. We got to love our own people, you know. We got to love our people, you know, no matter the race either. It's like whoever our circles are, we got to love ourselves, love them. And then it's cool because, like you said, we got 6 kids. I got 5, so you got me beat by 1. But you know, it's a beautiful thing because you build that family. You know, that's what starts a lot of our healing as a people. Yep. You know, everybody kind of wants to go out and do some big festival or do something like that, and that's cool too. But it's like you can just start by building yourself and your family. And it's like you're building your people strong that way. You're doing it.
Of course.
So I gotta know, man. When you said you listened to your music back in the day, and you're like, "That's whack." How did that go down? Were you just listening to it, and you're like, "What am I saying?"
I think honestly, I came across my old SoundClouds that I had back then in high school, and like, oh my god, I remember those days like it was just yesterday. Like I would be sitting up in my room. I'd have YouTube on from the TV, and then I would have my old school cell phone right there to be recording me on. And like I was just saying ridiculous stuff off the head, like, you know, like if I was like from Compton or like Crenshaw or something, like, you know, talking about drive-bys and stuff. I'm like, man, like this is not the business at all. I'm so glad I worked on myself and worked on a lot of it, like, you know what I mean. And like now I'm talking about stuff that I could be proud of. Like, honestly, I dropped a song just a couple weeks ago about all 6 of my kids, you know, about how I'm blessed to have them in my life. You know, like, I'm glad that I turned over all of this hostility for them. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, you know, I showed it to them. They love the song. They memorize the lyrics, like, word for word every time. Like I take
Yeah, what a beautiful tribute, man.
Yeah, man, they love it, too. Like, they love it.
What's the name of that track?
My Biggest Fans.
My Biggest Fans. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, I heard part of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it's about. You know, I'm gonna have to really zero in on that. Yeah. That's cool. It's like a dad anthem or what?
Yeah. Well, tribe anthem.
Tribe. We got 6 kids. It's a tribe.
Yeah, that's the starting lineup right there for the ITS.
You got your own team.
Yep.
Softball comes around. You got your own team, boy.
Yep.
You know, a lot of areas I don't even think have ITS, man. It's something we take for granted. I know we were talking earlier when you got here. You said, "Oh, I've been down here. I played ITS back in the day."
Yep.
And it's like, but you know, a lot of areas they don't have the opportunity. For those out in another part of the country that don't know SoCal, we have a lot of reservations, you know, like all of SoCal is indigenous land, obviously, you know. Yep. But it's like they broke us up and they put us, you know, split us everywhere. Yeah, so we're kind of little small reses, you know, distributed throughout the county. So years ago, what they decided or they figured out was like we have a big culture of res softball, right? Or we can either play res softball, the old fiestas, fast pitch. The just baseball and softball, that was real big. The women, the men, co-ed, all of that stuff. And so there was that. And then I know here at Viejas, they used to do scrimmages between us and Verona, the kids, you know, and then do just a Quan. They'd always beat us. But They bring in ringers, but they so they just kind of created a little league, you know. And I think it was the guy's name was Ben Foster at the time. He's RBS is the head dude, and he created a little league, the intertribal league. And it was just at that time it was just Barona VS and Saquon, and then they started bringing in other groups, you know. And then your guys' area, I know that Rincon and La Jolla and all those guys were kind of like wanting to play each other, and so they just put it together. Morongo start coming down, and San Isabel, the Bears up there, and Mesa Grande, they had their own team for a while. They jump into us twice sometimes, and so here in SoCal, we have a whole youth league. So right now we're in the season of it's basketball season. Nice. So you go up to Pechanga, you go out to Paulo. You know, these guys have gyms, you know, and it's like you got this res playing against that res. They have all the different age brackets, age groups, and they play a whole season. They have coaching on their own reses. They have a softball season. They have a soccer season. They have all these seasons. And I don't know, dude. I know when I was a kid, everyone was out of shape around me.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like now all these kids can ball, dude.
They can. Honestly, like I've seen all my nieces and nephews out there on the field, dude. Like they've got freaking heaters for arms. They got legs for runners. These kids are just, they're spectacular at their sports, you know. And that's one thing, like, you know, like I push for these kids. Like if you know how to ball, make sure you get on your Rez's team, because if you ain't on your Rez's team and you're not supported, then I don't know what to tell you, but you need to be doing something with your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think all of that too is going to really help out with our people when we look at like diabetes and stuff like that, you know, and the heart problems and all that. It runs in my family, it runs in everybody's families too. Yep.
High blood pressure.
But it's like, yeah.
All that shit.
I have it. Start getting dizzy and stuff. But I mean, it's like, I'm going to run a marathon. I made that a while back. I had a guest on, and they're talking about running and marathons and all that stuff. Nice. And in the middle of the interview, I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'm going to run a marathon. So I've been running every day. I'm sore right now, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. But I've been trying to, you know, battle all of that. And, but, you know, it's just, again, it's like all those little messages that are given to our people, you know, like what you can and can't do, what you're supposed to do, what's normal. And then we're just trying to survive and live. You know, and I think that's what your music's really powerful about, man, is that you're expressing yourself, you know, expressing what's up. And it's like, you know, other people it resonates into them that they're experiencing the same stuff.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because it seems like, I swear, I talk to people from all different areas, different reses, and it's like we all have very similar experiences, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And different tribes, different customs a little bit, you know, we're all pretty similar in our area, but
oh, yeah.
We're all intermarried, you know, the different things like that. But it's like we all have like a very similar experience, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
same challenges.
It's, you know, and it's a trip too to actually, you know, see somebody out there relate with what we got going on. Like, you know, and like I would never turn a deaf ear to that. Like, that's why honestly, like I try to go out there and, you know, whether if they're, you know, you could be from Saboba or from San Manuel, it doesn't matter if you're a rapper or whatever, like let's hit a collab together, you know, let's do something.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing that's, you know, I find like very unique. Like, you know, to actually hear, like, you know, other people's stories and stuff, because we don't ever got to try to front or put on something like, you know, that we're not. Like, you know, and I like, you know, intertwining all of our cultures together like that. Like,
yeah.
I think that it packs more of a powerful message when we do that.
Yeah, I like it, man. I love seeing like the different, you know, like you were talking about Pudizi earlier, and you know, just the different rappers from different areas, you know, hip hop guys coming together and collabing, you know, whether it's on stage. I know Saquon they had a concert a while back, and there was a bunch of guys down there, and just different, you know, different venues. They'll have spots, and you'll just see, or you'll see. Sometimes I see artists, you know, promote other artists, you know, and I think that's real powerful, you know. Oh, yeah. Check out my dude here, you know, my cousin there, whatever, and it's big, man. We got to support each other like that and build each other up. There's enough out there where we don't have to compete with each other, try to put each other down. There's enough ears out there to listen to everyone's music and to support one another.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think that's real powerful, man. I really like that. I like that. And I think what you said is powerful too, about like, you don't gotta lie to kick it, dude. You know, yeah, you can lie all you want, but it's like, you know, the Indian world's kind of small. Mm-hmm. You know about people, you hear about them, you know what's up, you know who they are.
We know about it already on the day off. Like, it's crazy though. I think one thing we honestly need to have is I was gonna share this with you too about the Indigenous Hip Hop Awards that's going on up there in Canada.
Yeah.
I got the nomination for Song of the Year and Video of the Year.
Yeah, you know, boy.
If we can have something like that.
Wait. Let's say that one more time so everyone can hear it. What? Say it again, man.
Yeah, I got the nomination for Song of the Year and Video of the Year.
That's a big deal, man. That's cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. I think if we had more award shows and stuff like that, like, or venues like down here in Cali,
Yeah.
and put like throw something together, even if like all the reses got together and did something like that, I think we would actually get a lot more of the youth involved into wanting to show themselves and express themselves.
Yeah.
That'd be something like to look into. Or like even like if somebody were to just invest or put some money down into it, like shit, like I would even start drawing up the blueprints for something like that.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea, man. I think we got to continue trying to have our youth express themselves. As we all know as natives, I don't know the stats are off the hand, but we do know that we're leading the nation in like suicide, teen suicide, drug use and abuse, and premature death. All these different kind of social ills we're leading. And it's like way disproportionate. We know we've had a bad history, but it's like, well, how do you deal with that? And one of the ways is, I truly believe, is you got to listen to the youth. They got to be able to get that out, their trauma, their stress, their problems. They have to find a way to get that out and heal from it, And if they keep it bottled up, all that turns into is self-anger, self-hate, and it turns into all of those social ills. So it's like, if we can get these kids, whether it's writing poetry, painting, doing hip hop, singing songs, whether it's getting involved in their culture and expressing themselves through that way, they have to find a way to express themselves so they can heal. Oh, yeah. No one's above it, no one's beyond it. Every family has that. Oh, yeah. I think that, and then you start building people up in our region. I think that'd be cool, man.
Oh yeah, of course.
I know a while back they had the Grammys, and Northern Cree was out there. Did you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. They're in LA with all their moccasins.
Yeah.
All I could think of is, dude, they're going to take back some kind of coronavirus or something back to the rest. Like Saddle Lake, man. Make sure they sanitize before they get back to Saddle Lake Res. They're going to, those moccasins got, hepatitis on the bottom.
I know, dude. That's just so grimy out there. I was actually watching the Grammys last night.
Yeah.
And that's just one thing, like, and as a kid I always wanted to, I made that as one of my goals, like, when I was doing music, like, I'm gonna be the first Native artist to go get a Grammy. I'm gonna shoot for that. But like now, like over the years as I watched it, I'm just seeing that, like, it's fake as hell now. Like, like I've noticed, like, they only give it to who they want to give it to. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Even though they say like they've changed and everything like that, and they've got new board members and stuff like that and different votes and whatnot. I just think that, for a lot of the unseen talent, like, like there's a lot of talent out here, like, that doesn't get recognized. And for like someone to get lost to and they give it to somebody like freaking Billie Eilish or whatever, I don't even know if you know who that is. It's like this freaking kid girl with freaking lime green hair,
like, I do.
Talking about nonsense. It's like, really? Like, I lost the award to that chick? Like, don't invite me here. Like, don't invite.
Poor Billie Eilish. She's crying right now hearing this.
I mean, I'm being dead serious, man, because like a lot of the artists, like, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's like, come on now.
No, it's true though. And Billie Eilish, I was calling him Billie Eyelash, and I was calling him Billie Eyelash.
Yeah.
And because I beat it this for Christmas, I beat it one of my little nieces a pair of earrings, and my other niece a pop socket of Billie Eyelash. Yeah. And so I asked my daughter and them, I was like, "What should I make?" And they're like, "Oh, they like Billie Eilish or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, Billie Eyelash." I was like, "Well, what does he do? Is he a rapper, or is he, what kind of music does he play?" They're like, they're all looking at me like I'm like a million years old. And I'm like, so anyways, I look into Billie Eilish or whatever, and I'm listening to this stuff, and so they're no, all depressed. I went to depression mode right away.
Oh my God.
But man, I was like, this is what the kids be listening to.
Dude.
Back when I was a kid, we were listening to Death Row. You know what I mean? At the Crossroads and Bone Thugs.
Yep.
I was like, Billy, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to down no one's like expression or music or nothing either. I know there's a lot of people listen to it, obviously, but they were like, yeah, like I guess 1 to 4 top awards for a female, first time anybody's done that, and I was like, wow, that. I mean, I guess I have to take another listen. I didn't hear it. I don't know, man.
It's nonsense, bro.
It's crazy.
Like I said, I don't want to be that guy, but I will. I will have to be. But
I'm gonna have to be honest.
Yes, because to be honest with you, I would not let none of my daughters listen to that shit. I mean, like, and I've seen the videos too.
It's depressing, huh?
It is depressing.
It's weird. You watch it and you're like, wow, man, music's. I mean, I guess that's what music's supposed to do, but I feel like music. For me, I like music to energize me. I like to feel good. Yes. I like to get a little bump. It's okay to get introverted. It's good to have it make you think and stuff like that, But at some point, it's like you want to feel good. Like, do you have? Where's the one song where we're supposed to dance to? Like, where are you at? You know, and it's there ain't one there.
Where's the song we're supposed to do a shot to?
Yeah,
like now these kids are just popping Xanaxes and shit. Like
going the there's no middle ground, man. And that's
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is so it's so addictive and just killing people, and it's like
Oh yeah.
scary as a parent. I know I get scared to think about that. So you're right. Like, do you let your kid listen to that music? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if they're already
Yeah.
tempted and then they listening to that, it just I don't know. Am I being like an old parent back in the day that'd say, "Don't listen to this music"? They're gonna start smoking the devil's lettuce, and then they're the Satan's cabbage or whatever they call it. But I was like, am I being that parent right now? But I think times have changed, man. You can't play with some of that stuff. I feel like times have changed, and everything's really deadly. You know, that fentanyl and all that kind of stuff. And some people can experiment and get off and move on with their life and empower themselves like you did.
Yep.
And some people don't get that opportunity. It's hard.
You know, and honestly, it's like, you know, it was kind of hard for me to, you know, like beat that, but like, you know, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it without, you know, like the right support system, you know, and group in my corner, you know, and I'm really am thankful for that. Like, you know, I'm glad I didn't fall victim underneath that, because it was bad. And I ain't gonna lie.
What motivated you? What was your? I mean, they say like you have to hit rock bottom or something. I don't know. That's not always the case, but what do you feel like really motivated you to change your life?
What motivated me, honestly, was it was the birth of my son. His name's Hunwa Avat. He's my miracle boy, I want to say. You know what I mean? Like, I love all of my sons the same, you know, but he came to me and my wife at a appropriate time in our lives, because like I had just lost my mom. My wife had just lost you know, her dad and her grandma, you know, and it was like, you know, it was back to back, like all in the same week, you know, and you know, things were just like spiraling out of control for me, you know, and like I couldn't take the pain anymore. So it's like, you know, and then looking into my son's eyes and then talking with my wife, you know what, I told her I'm done with this. Like, you know, I'll pack my bags right now and I'll go straight into rehab, go clean up if I have to, you know. And she supported me 100%, had my back, you know, came there and visited me every week. Like, you know, like, I think honestly, like, the staff was getting kind of annoyed because, like, you know, like how there she was for me, you know. But like, you know, it was, if anything that I could say that motivated me though, it was our son. Like, you know, I got to give it all up to him. Like, you know what I mean?
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for those people who aren't parents out there, you know, a child is a powerful thing, man.
Oh yeah.
Child is a powerful thing, man. They'll take your time, it'll take your money. I know that, but it changes you. I know when I had my first son, you know, like I really felt, I lost a brother when I was younger, you know, and I had a whole period of time where I didn't really process that, you know, and when I was real young, and I literally went years without like crying or having a lot of real deep emotion. Yeah. And when I had my son, and I just remember looking, I was like, wow. And I always tell my wife, I feel like whatever it was, the exterior, it just cracked, like broke me open. I was real vulnerable. And I don't know if I cried. If I did, it was just my allergies. Hey, but no, it was like I did. It was the weeds out here. It was the wind hit me. But it was like I felt like a real emotion, you know, and it was just kind of like, and then from that, it was weird for me personally. Like I went through like this whole time where I was really I finally had to process all of the hurt and all of that time period that I really bottled up, you know. And I went through this kind of like the self-growth thing, still kind of going through, you know, still learning, you know, a lot about myself and made mistakes and done well at things, and you know, just all, you know, everything that's life, you know.
Yeah.
But it was like for a long time I was just kind of had this really strong exterior, you know, and it took something like a child to really break that, which was real to me. I look at that as real powerful, and all my kids I've had that experience.
Oh yeah.
And so that's powerful to hear you say, like, you know, that's what motivated you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yep.
I give it all up to him though, man. That boy just knows how to push my buttons, but then just, he's my wonder kid. Like, you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So you guys have any more?
I think we're gonna have one more, and then we're gonna be done. So, it'll be up to 7. We're gonna have a 7. So
Hey man, you know, people say what they want, but we're talking about decolonization. There you go, man. Decolonize the continent. You know, one child at a time. We got to take our land back.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Well, I'm gonna get my taxes back. I'm trying to take that shit back, like,
tax season, here we come, boy. Yeah, that's funny because people always are like, "Oh man, all these kids want to kind of crack jokes." You know, they ain't cracking jokes and taxes come around, boy.
No. Especially when they want that new backpack or the new pair of freaking Converse or something that comes out.
Yeah, I'll take care of your kids. That's true though, man. I have my kids. They play peon. They're a little bit older, you know. So someone played peon a few years ago. They did really well. I was proud of them all year long until taxes came. Then I was like, wait, we got to pay taxes on all that? Oh man, that was terrible. That was the only year that I ever got like. That was just like, they didn't help me. Usually it's like, all right, all that child raising is going to pay off, boy.
Hell yeah.
I'm getting some of this back. Yeah.
With interest.
With interest. So you're nominated for that award?
Yep.
That's cool. You're going to cruise on up there and scope it out?
Yep. Up there, I think it's in Winnipeg, Canada.
When is that?
No, it's gonna be in June.
Okay, cool.
June or September is one of them. Yeah, I have the date posted.
Sure.
But it's gonna be, it's gonna be live and everything like that too. Because I'm gonna have Red Cloud there with me and Spider Deuce. He's another native from out there in LA. It's gonna be like the first big stage performance I think I've ever done. Like
Okay.
Especially at an award show. Like like I always dreamed of doing something like this. So it's like now that it's actually happening. I'm almost like a little bit nervous. I'm a little nervous. Like, shit, I'm gonna be in front of a bunch of Indians right here. Like, shit. I'm like, man, but I'm gonna love it though, and I think I'm just gonna have my mom watching down on me, like on that day. I'm gonna have all the kids there. I'm gonna have my wife right there with me. It's gonna be a good day. I want to say.
Yeah, it's gonna be, man. And I know the waves of they'll come down here. People are gonna. You know what I mean? We're going to see it down here, social media and everything. We're all going to be here, SoCal repping. We're going to be cheering you on. Oh, yeah. That's going to be really cool. You ever been to Canada before?
Nah, never.
First time, huh?
First time.
Yeah, man. I've been to Canada a few times. That's all I was asking, like, is it soon? Because right now, dude, you don't want to be in Canada. It's freezing up there, dude. When I was a kid, I went up to Canada and with my family, and it was all snow outside.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like you have to put stuff in your gas because your car will freeze. Oh, and then when they go to warm up their engine, like, we were like northern part of Alberta, and like they went and turned something on like a heater to heat the engine, and then they go back inside, and it was like half hour later went back in and then turned on the car to warm it up. Like you had to warm up you had to warm up your car, but you had to like preheat it first. It was really weird. And they have like these little they have like these little like things they put in front of the grill to kind of like insulate the engine because it's just so cold, to like break the heads or whatever. And it's just like, man, then you drive everywhere and it's just like the plows go out and then it's just like these snowbanks like everywhere you go. It's just so it's just we don't down in SoCal we don't get that, man.
Unless we go to Big Bear.
Big Bear, yeah. But even then, like you're there a couple days, like up there, it's like it's frozen for months at a time, dude.
Oh yeah. I think like the most snow I think I've ever seen when I was out there in Wisconsin, out there in Boulder. My aunt lives out there. She lives out there on the Mohican Reservation. Okay. And frick, man, the first couple years when I went out there to go live with her. I was just, me, of course, being from Cali, I had my Dickie shorts and just short sleeve t-shirts, and I'm walking outside and it's like below 13, freaking snow all the way up to my knees. I'm like, man, I did not pack for this.
This is not the business.
And, I seen a moose for the first time. I'm like, almost got ran down by that damn thing too.
Yeah, you forget, like you just like used to stuff. My family and we all went up to when they had the Standing Rock thing going down. Yeah, we went to North Dakota for that, and we had to deliver some stuff and whatever. But we brought jackets and all that stuff. I kind of like, oh yeah, probably cold. It was October, so I didn't. It was warm down here. It was like that year. It was like really warm down here in San Diego. We drove up there, and like when we got closer, I looked at my wife and said, "Oh, dude, like." We made a big mistake, bro, because it's gonna be freezing. We didn't dress warm enough. Yeah. And she was like, "What do you mean?" We got up there and like we were in vans and stuff. And like I was like, dude, these guys need like real stuff. So we had to like go stop and get some like real shoes and jackets. Like get some boots and stuff like that. Because they've been freezing. And but you just forget that in SoCal. You know what I mean? Like we're so spoiled. Like it's middle of winter and we just walk around short still and start
going to the beach and stuff during December.
Yeah, I'm gonna go vibe out at the beach and all that kind of stuff.
But it gets cold in some areas, man. It does, especially like up in the mountain areas, like where my wife's from in Pechanga. I swear to God, I've never felt coldness up there before in my life, And I used to live in La Jolla with my grandma, so it's like it's. I thought it was always cold up there. Hell no, Pechanga at nighttime, man, it gets freaking freezing.
That's where it's popping. Yeah. So moving forward, man, where do you think where do you think you'll be at, man? Where are you taking all of this to? Just you enjoying the road, or you got?
I think honestly, I have one more show after the Indigenous Hip Hop Awards. It's gonna be in Florida. It's another coast to coast event. I'm gonna actually go there for the grand championship for 50,000. I'm gonna go compete. And
you can compete for 50,000. Is that a freestyle or is that just you bring your own stuff, or how does that work?
I think it was from the last show that I won. I got actually like a top contender spot to go compete for the grand champ, because they take every artist from every state, and they just duke it out, head to head, like right there in Florida. So it's like
wow.
It's like, and you get like I think they give you like, like a deal, like, a little tour and whatnot, little, with all the fixings and stuff. So I think my main goal with all of that though is like, I'm going to take the money, utilize it into, building my own studio professionally, like, with all the right, like, equipment and whatnot, and then I'm going to establish my label, like, professionally, and just start doing tours, whatnot, get my kids involved, because like my son, he's really involved with what I do, my oldest, and he just loves, every time when I come out with a track, he's like, Dad, can I hear it? Can I help you make a beat?
That's cool.
Can I give you some insight on this? I'm like, yeah, boy, let me know. And like he's really mesmerized with, like how I'm doing everything in the music, and I'm glad that he gets to see all of this, and like now it's giving him an outlet, like,
Sure.
So, I see me going pretty far with this, I just want to give back to, like, I want to give back to, our people down here, to where, like, if I do get this all established, it's going to be a studio to where, like, I don't care if you're making country music, reggae, rock, doesn't matter. It's going to be a recording studio where our youth can come and utilize that and get their stuff recorded and, produced out.
Yeah, start growing our people like that, right? I like it, man. That's cool. Well, I wish you luck, man. I hope you win the big 50. I hope you win that award. You got big things coming.
Thank you.
So where can everybody find you? Let's make sure we get this plug in before we call it.
Oh yeah, of course. You can find me on my Instagram. It's Indio_PR9. You can find me on my Twitter page at Maganti Abe. Facebook, Abe Maganti. Those are pretty much the only sites that I'm on. And then my Spotify, you can just find me at Indio9. It's INDIO 9. 9 is silent. That's where you can find me at all my stuff. Is like, just hit me up on the gram. That's mainly what I'm on. And I'll come slide you some info or slide you some cards, or I'm gonna be making some merchandise very soon too. So, make sure you come. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Right on. Otherwise, go on over to Pauma Res and say what's up.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks for coming out. And we are live from the Res.